All right. Okay. Welcome everyone and welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to solve some examples in this video and I'm going to just pick up where I stopped on the last video. So I'm going to just solve some examples so that we can get used to it. Then in the next video, I'm going to talk about greater than inequalities. So for this video, we're going to talk about less than or equal to inequalities, okay? So what we're going to do now is let's start. So we have find the values. Let's say we want to solve a question that said, find the values that satisfy this inequality, for instance, okay? So we have this. So let's say we have this. Remember the 5 rules I talked about. Is that okay? So remember the 5 rules I talked about in the previous video. So the first thing is that you have to equate this to both positive as well as equate it to what? Negative. Does that make sense? So equate it to both positive and negative. So x is going to be equal to 1 minus 4, and x is going to become minus 1 minus 4. So x is going to give you minus 3, and x is going to give you minus 5. Okay? Then I told you that you didn't have to write it because it's in less than, in the form of minus a less than x less than a. Do you remember this? So we're going to write it like this. So minus 5 is less than minus 3. So it's going to be minus 5 less than x less than minus 3. And that will be the answer for that. Okay. Then the next thing I told you that if you want to sketch it in a number line, that would be cool. That'll be easy to do. So you're going to put 0 here. So this is going to be minus 3. And this is going to be what? Minus 5. And you can put it there. Now, if you want to check if 0 is part of the solutions, okay, so you can check. So check if 0 is part of the solutions. You just put x plus 4 is less than 1. You put 0 here. 0 plus 4 is less than 1. So that will give you absolute value of 4 less than 1. And that is 4 is less than 1. See? So you can see 4 is not less than 1. So 0 does not work. Okay? 0 does not work. And also, if you want to play around again, you want to draw the graph as usual. So like I told you, to draw the graph, you just equate the inequality to be equal to 0 because it's at, so it will be y to be equal to 0. So it'll be x plus 4 will be equal to 0. So x is going to be minus 4. So if you're going to draw it, the graph is going to be at minus 4. So this is 0. So let's say this is minus 3, and this is minus 5, and this is minus 4. So we already know that it's going to be at this point here and here. Okay? So that's what the modulus graph is going to be, right? So and you can draw it like this. At point of x1, at y is equal to 1. Okay, so if you draw it carefully, it should look something like this. The point of intersection should be the same at minus 5 and 3. Now, because we're looking at less than means that the answer is within this curve here, less than this point. So we can easily say that these parts are not part of the solution, only this part here. All right. Then the next thing as well is that we can solve another question. You just do the same thing. The first thing you do, you equate both of them to be positive and negative. You find a value for x, you now solve the question as well. So let's solve another one. Let's say we have a question of 5x minus 1 is less than 2. Okay, so it's going to be 5x minus 1 is equal to 2, or 5x minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Okay, so we have 5x is equal to, take 1 to the other side, will give you 3, and 5x, sorry, then 5x is equal to minus 2. You add 1, so it will become minus 1. Does that make sense? So you divide both sides by 5. So therefore, we have x to be equal to 3/5. And here we have variable size by 5. We have x to be equal to -1/5. So like I said, you have to put this in the same form because it's less than. So it's going to be -1/5 less than x less than what? 3/5. And that will be the answer for that. Now, but if you want to check with 0 or draw the graph, as usual, you can draw the graph. So if this is 0, here should be 3/5, and here should be -1/5. So as you can see, I'm just sketching. So I'm just trying to sketch the graph. So it's not drawn to scale. Does that make sense? All right. So next thing I'm doing now is to check with 0. Okay. So I'm going to check if 0 works in this equation. So it's going to be 5x minus 1 is less than 2. You put 0 here. So it's going to be 5 into bracket 0 minus 1 is less than 2 minus 1 less than 2. So absolute value of -1 is going to be 1 less than 2. And therefore 1 is less than 2. So 0 works here. Okay. Then you want to draw the graph. It's going to be the same thing. You equate the 5x minus 1 to be equal to 0. So 5x minus 1 to be equal to 0. You take 1 to the other side. So x is going to be 1/5. Okay. So it's x is 1/5. We can draw the graph now. So we already know that this is 0. So let's say this is 3/5 somewhere here. And we already said here is 1/5 or -1/5. So 1/5, let's say 1/5 is here. Okay. So we can draw this now. It's going to be like this and like this. Okay. And that's at x is equal to 2. So it's x equal to 2. So this is going to be 3/5. And it's going to be -1/5. And that will give you, this has y is equal to 2. So this is the y-axis. This is the y-axis here. Okay. So that is it. So, and because we're looking at less than, so that means the solutions is not going to be greater than. So all the solutions is going to be less than when y is equal to 2. And this is the answer for it. So you can see, regardless of how it looks like, it's still the same way you will solve all the less than equal to inequalities as well. So we have the same thing. So we're having 1 minus 2x less than or equal to 5. The same thing. The first thing you do is going to be 1 minus 2x is equal to 5. And you also have 1 minus 2x is 2x is equal to -5. Okay, so making x root of the formula. So it's going to be it'll be -2x is equal to, you take 1 to the other side, and that'll give you 4. And sorry, you better put 4. Then we'll have -2x will be equal to -5. Take 1 to the other side, I'll give you -6. Okay. So what do? You divide both sides by -2. Divide both sides by -2. So x is going to be equal to -2 on x is going to give you 3. You put it in the same way. So it's going to be -2 less than x less than what? 3. That'll be the answer for that. But you don't stop there. You want to check, okay? Or you draw the number line first. So if you want to draw the number line, it's going to be 0. This is 3. And this is what? -2. So to check if 0 is part, so you can check that. So check x is equal to 0. You put it there. It's going to be 1 minus 2 into bracket 0. It's less than or equal to 5. 1 This absolute value is less than or equal to 5. So therefore 1 is less than 5. So because 1 is less than 5, so that means we can now say 0 what? Works in this inequality. All right. So because 0 works as well, we can draw this as well. So if you want to find the point as well, the intersection or the point of the modulus vertex. So you equate that to be equal to 0. So 1 minus 2x is equal to 0. Okay. Then x will now be equal to half. Okay. So because you take minus 2x to the other side and you now give x equal to half. So you can now draw this. So this will give you 0. And this is going to give you 1/2. So let's say that is the vertex. Then from the vertex now we can get the two values. When it's minus 2, then the value we get here will be what? 3. All right. And this is the y-axis. And that is the x-axis. Okay. Then this is the value here. And this is at y is equal to 5. All right. But we're interested in less than. So this part is not part of the solutions. Only this part is part of the solutions for that. All right, and that will be that for that. So you just see it's still the same thing for each of the values of x, or you're looking for the values of x that will satisfy it. The first thing you do, you equate both of them to be positive and negative. You put it in the general answer formula, you draw the number line, you check with 0, and you can draw the graph for that. All right. So if you have any question, feel free to let me know, or you can drop me a message, or you can drop it in the comment section, and I will get back to you on it. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.